Well, hey folks, Smudge here again. Today, April 23rd, 2018, and we have a fantastic show for you tonight. Coming to you out of Georgia, the Big Bear Homestead. They do videos on gardening, starting seeds, all kinds of instructional videos, fixing a screen, and there you see Robin helping him. They do some cooking videos, different casseroles, just all sorts of things. And then they get into some animal stuff as well, rendering pig fat. Mama Bear has an essential oil class every week. They do a live show every week. The Family Homestead Information Center brings you this alert, interrupts your broadcast. Want you to know that bears have been spotted traveling north from Georgia to Ohio. We urge everybody not to interfere with their travels. Please do not feed them along the way. They're traveling at such a pace, they should be here in plenty of time for the 9 o'clock show. The stream will start at 8:57 and the show starts at 9 p.m. Again, we remind everybody, do not interfere with the bear's progress. We will see you tonight. The Family Homestead Information Center brings you this alert, interrupts your broadcast. Want you to know that bears have been spotted traveling north from Georgia to Ohio. We urge everybody not to interfere with their travels. Please do not feed them along the way. They're traveling at such a pace, they should be here in plenty of time for the 9 o'clock show. The stream will start at 8:57 and the show
we just have that. No, we always get, hi there folks. Am I live?
You're live.
Are you just playing with me?
You're live.
Yes, no?
You're live.
Hi, I'm live. He does it to me every week. Yes, so we have big bears in the house. Mama and Papa Bear. I don't know what he's doing with the screen here. So anyway, it's going to be an hour-long fun, at least an hour.
Or more.
I can tell you that, or more. So we have get your trivia ready on the bear family. And then we also have a trivia instead of seeds tonight. We have a Stacy Lynn Harris book that we're giving out. So let's get the bears here on the screen and let's get this show working.
They're here. Say hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land?
Yeah, you're not used to doing it on that side of the screen, are you?
B-Lady in the house.
I think B-Lady's in Virginia.
Kitty,
No, she's in the chat here.
Oh, I know that.
Farm.
Hey, kitty.
My View from the Woods. That is a cool channel name.
That is a cool channel.
So if you have questions, make sure you put them in all caps. That way I can see them and our moderators can see them.
B-Lady.
So we're shooting to beat Joel Salatin. I told everybody in our last couple of live streams, Joel Salatin pulled in this many people.
Oh yeah.
So we got to pull in more, so I can pick on him at the conference.
Oh, is that your goal?
Uh huh. And I'm gonna be like, you ain't such a big name. You only on Two Family live stream. You only pulled in 85 people. I pulled in 86.
You're funny.
Because that'll probably never happen.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you coming in the room, the Bear family here is out of Georgia, northern Georgia. Is that correct, Jason?
Yes. Yes. North. We are about 45 minutes east of Athens. If you Google American Stonehenge or Georgia Guidestones. That's us.
Yeah, we're like
you can walk to our very back point of our pasture and maybe walk a mile, and then you'd be right at the Guidestone.
I'll put it this way: we have Bofang radios. You can go up to the Guidestones and you can reach the back part of our property.
Well, you can reach all the way into the house.
Can you?
Yeah, because I tested it.
Oh, that's right.
I tested it one day. So we got to be under a mile from the Guidestones from our back.
The way that the crow flies, but if you have to go road wise, it's about 3 miles.
I would say more the way the homing pigeon flies. Because you ever watch a crow fly?
Yeah, they do kind of go a little crazy, don't they?
I wouldn't fly like that.
How far are we from Trenton, Georgia?
Trenton, Georgia.
I'm not familiar with
Buckeye
Trenton.
girl, how you doing?
I know a Trenton, South Carolina, but not a Trenton, Georgia.
They're probably cousins.
Could be.
Everybody's related. Everybody's related around here.
That happens down in Kentucky too, Jason. A lot of them are related down in Kentucky also.
And AR, Kansas.
AR, Kansas. I went to school there, so leave me alone.
Exactly.
Well, Jason, some of your specialties are trapping. No, what would you consider to be your strongest points, your strongest suits?
Doing whatever Robin tells me to do.
Okay, Robin.
I'm very good at that part. I don't necessarily. Robin is you've always described me as a Renaissance man because I'm a jack of many trades, just a master of none. I can hunt, I can trap, I can fish, I can garden, I can fix things, I can blow things up when I'm trying to fix things.
That's the thing about being a homesteader is you kind of have to.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of tools in your toolbox.
You really do. You gotta have a little bit of everything, and
so to say what my strongest, I don't know if I could pin that out because I would probably pick the wrong one according to you. So what would you say my strongest one is?
I would say fixing things.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to say that.
I mean, he's very knowledgeable in a lot of different things, but I think his most useful tool in his tool belt is being able to look at a situation, no matter what it is, and fix it.
Problem solving skills.
Yeah, definitely. And whether that be, fixing a plumbing problem, an electrical problem, an issue with the animals, a fencing issue. I mean, whatever it is, he's always been very good at problem solving, no matter what we've got going on, and trying to figure out.
Improvising and just getting it done.
Right.
Improvising, adapting, and overcome. That's like the Marine Corps motto.
Yes.
So.
That's this one over here. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's exactly our family. What do you call that? Is it the family motto?
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Is wounded, never conquered, and that's exactly. I mean, that's the way we've always been. Is we may get knocked down, but we get back up and keep going.
We're like Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
Yep. Wipe the dust off and keep going.
Yep. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Dustin Dean?
Hello.
I want to put a short plug out. Dustin Dean just got a bunch of bees, and if you're thinking about getting into beekeeping, his channel is the channel to watch. I've been in beekeeping for a long, long time, and he's doing something that I don't have the guts to do. He's splitting a nuke, and so it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes, because the nuke rejected the queen that was given to him. And so they made like 3 or 4 queen cells. So he's going ahead and splitting it. And I was kind of like, no. But he's doing it. Yep. But the way that he did it in this video that came out today, I think it might work. So I'm going to be watching. So that was my short little plug. I just saw him in there.
That works. If you're not subscribed to Dustin Dean, click on there. In fact, if one of the moderators don't get it, I'll go out and get the channel right now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's see. Love the essential oil classes. What would you say is the best essential oil for osteoarthritis? Ooh.
Rum and Coke.
Just arthritis in general. I'm not sure about because I've not had to deal with osteoarthritis, but I've had arthritis issues in the past, and there's several. I've used lemongrass, ginger, anything that is analgesic and anti-inflammatory. Anything with those properties works really well. Ginger. A lot of the warming oils work really well because it applies that little bit of heat. There's we use doTERRA, and doTERRA has a blend called Deep Blue, and that actually works pretty well for arthritis as well.
I just want to let all your viewers know that's not hail. It's just raining really hard here tonight. That's all. We're not gonna.
So you're telling us winter is over? You're telling us winter is over. You're not getting any hail or snow anymore.
But we don't ever get snow, man. That's one thing that I kind of want to move. Look, one of the things on my bucket list, and here all the jokes are going to come from our hardcore followers that has come tonight, is I want to deer hunt in the snow. I want to stick a big buck in the middle of, and with like 2 feet on the ground.
More than 100.
I want to wear snowshoes. I want to see what it's like to walk in snowshoes.
Yep.
It's like B-Lady's in New York. She don't know it yet, but if I don't get some snow soon, I'm going to be like, I'm just going to hang out till I got to wear snowshoes, and then I'm going to go home. Come to Missouri. Is that an invitation?
So we had it here last week.
Yeah, we had snow again last week, but I think it's done for the year.
Yeah.
Ozark, yes, he is. No, I've not seen any moringa oil, but I would imagine it's possible. I mean, you could probably get it from the leaves to steam distill it, but I've not seen any. But I imagine it would probably be pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, don't they use a lot of? I don't know this, but don't they use a lot of different parts from the moringa plant? So it really depends on what part they're going to be using.
Moringa is one of those that everybody kind of jumped, and I'm not trying to, but everybody kind of jumped on the moringa bandwagon for about a year, and we never really jumped into it because we had so much going on with our oils were working for us, so we never really went that route.
There was a seed box going around from another YouTube channel, and it came here first, and he had moringa in it, but they never sprouted for us. So I don't know what was wrong.
Yeah. So
what?
Bee Lady lost 5 hives this winter.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I didn't say I wanted to raise bees up there.
No bees. Just want to shoot a deer.
I want to hunt and trap. Like I'd like to go to. What's up, Cap? I want to go to like North Dakota, Montana,
North Dakota,
Canada,
North Dakota.
I want to go somewhere out there because see, they have a lot of critters up there that I don't have down here.
Right.
That are on my bucket list to trap, like badgers, fishers. They got a lot more mink and a lot more weasel up there. Our mink are few and far between down here, and the weasels are next to like never.
Well, and I was married to one. You know, the fur down there or down here versus the fur up there is just totally different. You know, like when we have a raccoon fur here, it's kind of thin, and but then you get up north and you have they have like.
Well, prime example is this last year, and this is for anybody that ever tells me that people don't matter when it comes to the commercial market. I give you a prime example how a small group of trappers changed.
Make a difference.
We made a difference last year. I was supposed to go up to J-No Zero's place in Ohio this winter, and we were going to run a long trap line. We were going to, our target animal was going to be raccoons. Well, the word got out that we were doing this, and a fur buyer said, "Look, I'll come down and buy every one of y'all's hides. I'll even buy them green, so you don't have to flesh them and put them out." And me and Gino were like, "Whoop whoop, save us some work." And some of the what they call fur farmers, I don't know if they caught word about it or if it was just that time of year, but they flooded the market. So the price of coon hides and a lot of the fur went down again last year. Well, a group of about 500 to 700 trappers said, "You know what? Fine. We didn't put a single trap out last year. We didn't catch one fur bear last year." Now the price is starting to go back up because folks like Russia and China, they don't want the farm raised stuff because that tends to slip a little bit more, and it's a lot. There's just a lot of things wrong with it. And so there was like not as many wild coons on the market last year. So now the prices started to climb.
To go back up, yeah.
So I may be up in your neck of the woods
Next winter. Oh,
okay.
I'm trying to trap an armadillo. Oh,
Papa Truck Prep Steader. This is what you do. You get a cage trap. You can get a have a heart. I don't like have a hearts. I think they're the biggest waste of money and junk on the market.
Stop. But most people are not aware of the brand that you have because they're not in stores the way that have hearts are.
Too soon. There's a company out there called Tomahawk. Best live cage traps on the market, hands down.
It's called livetrap.com.
But what you do is you put your armadillo, you know where he's rooting around up in your yard or in your pasture or whatever you got going on over there. You see him. Okay? Put that trap, and if it's a double door trap, the better. If not, it's okay. Put the trap, set the trap, cage door open. Then take like 2x6s, 2x8s if you got them. Go a little bit, and he'd have to go 2x6 because he would probably crawl over a 2x4 or put two 2x4s together on top of each other and build a funnel. Say this is your trap. Oh, this be the trap holder.
I'm the trap.
Okay. This is your trap. Okay. Build a funnel coming out from your trap and get it as wide as you can. What that armadillo is going to do is he's going to have his head down and he's going to be rooting around and he's going to hit that. He'll hit that 2x4 or 2x6 and then he'll just turn and keep rooting and he'll bounce back and forth and then walk right into the cage. You don't need bait or anything. You just need to build that funnel and blammo, you'll have it. Guarantee you. Put my reputation on it.
We've been there, done that.
That's how I did it when I was doing it commercially and professionally. Every time I got an armadillo call, I had 4 2x6s. Just ran them out into a funnel all day long.
Yeah, you just got to find where they're traveling.
Where the most heavy traffic is, where they're rooting.
Yep.
Right in the middle of it.
So Jason,
that's about the only way really to catch an armadillo. Because a conibear, I mean, you can find where they're burrowing up underneath the fence or where they burrowed up underneath the house.
But it's not.
And you can put the conibear on there, but his shell is so hard, you're just going to come back to a really mad armadillo in the morning.
Because their shell, it's not gonna do much.
So Jason, have you started your garden yet for this year?
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, it's getting.
Are we up on the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
That is full of squash and
tomatoes.
Yeah.
Zucchini?
No. What's the paste?
Amish paste.
Amish paste. I can't. Why do I always? I
don't know. And then turn around over there.
And then all the way over there you got more tomatoes, zucchini, peppers, cabbage.
The spinach is
already outside.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're growing everything inside this year, so you don't have so far to go.
No.
No, that's seed starting.
No, that's just the seed starting stuff. Out in the garden already, we've got peas. They started coming up already. We've got our Swiss chard out. We got our lettuce out. We got our potatoes in. We have carrots in the ground. We have we went ahead and put some beans out just because we did it during we thought the cold was over, and then it was like, Mother Nature's like, no, I'm bipolar. Watch, wham.
37
she
degrees.
Sure has been. You got it.
We went last week. Last Sunday, it was like 67 for the low. I mean, not 67, 64 for the low on Sunday. Then Monday was like 44. And then the next day was like 35 or 37. And the only reason I know this is because the temperature blanket that I'm doing, I have to keep up with the low each day. But we dropped like 20 degrees in one day and then dropped another 10 a day after that. And it was, I mean, thank goodness we didn't have a whole lot in the ground at that point.
Yeah,
but
Mother Nature definitely has been off her meds.
I'll tell you.
So,
and then all this, although we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's April showers bring May flowers. So, and we know that it's supposed to rain in April, but every year it seems to just.
Keep every year.
Rain is fine. They don't say anything about, April snow brings May anything.
Yeah.
The bad thing is when this happens to us every year, we'll sit in and within the first 3 or 4 days, all of our rainwater catchment systems are full
and overflowing.
And then we'll be like, we got it. Well, let's make more. Let's make more.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we start making more. But it seems like every year the rains just keep getting harder and harder, and it'll go from the middle of April till
middle of May.
Mm-hmm. And then nothing.
And then the thing that's really frustrating is, and we keep writing this down every year and we keep not listening to ourselves, is we've always had this crazy thing where we have a cold snap in January and then we have absolutely like
shorts and t-shirts.
Over a month of like 60 degrees. And then what happens is I go to prune my muscadines and I don't want to prune them because it's warm out and I'm afraid they're going to start, budding or doing something. And then all of a sudden it freezes again and it's just
crazy days.
And then the next thing you know, it's March and I haven't pruned yet. And gets so stressful. And every year I'm like, I need to just prune in January and I just keep forgetting to do it every year.
Well, everybody's like, well, what's the weather like down there? What's the weather like down there? I said, you don't want me to tell you. I said, I can't tell you. And they're like, why? I said, because I'm going to tell you what the weather is right now.
It'll change.
But in 5 minutes, it's going to change, and you're going to call me a liar.
Yep.
So.
If you don't like the weather in Georgia, wait 5 minutes. It'll change.
This is like the only state that it will rain on the right side of the street, but it will not a drop of water will touch on the left side. Well, like where we are, with the real bad thunderstorms, I joke and I kid and I call it the power of the guide stones, but you can even watch it on the radar. Right around within like a 3-mile radius of the guide stones, nothing.
Yeah.
Everything outside that, people are running for cover.
Well, a good example is my work is like 5 miles from our home. And we can be pouring down rain. It sounds like there's a hurricane coming at my work and it'll be dry here. Or vice versa. It's the weirdest thing.
I'm telling you, there's something weird about those guide stones. Nobody believes me, but I'm telling you, I don't know if it's or what.
It's the crazy mojo.
Something creepy about those things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to do a couple more videos on those this year.
Yeah. Nope.
I stay as far away from those things as possible.
It's the Russians. That's exactly it. And there it goes again.
And there it comes.
Just talk about when the rain starts coming down hard.
Yep.
All right, so I have a question.
Okay.
I'd like to go back a few years with you here, Jason.
Well, can I interrupt?
Sure.
It's 9:22. Hold that question. Let's get a trivia done.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do let's do one of the $2 trivias. For those of you that don't know, we do 2 trivias during the first hour. And the winner of the trivia, as long as they haven't won in the last 4 weeks, will get a $2 bill.
Now, we're not allowed to answer these questions, right?
No, because they're about you. Sorry.
Okay.
Can't cheat.
So we'll get this queued up here.
Noah's Ark 1962 should win automatically because he is keeping the dream of live of just putting numbers in when they start talking about it.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Like Jason doesn't do that?
Here are the here are the rules. You can only win once every 4 weeks. You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it is received and recorded on the stream here. And if you notice on the screen now, you will see the chat is embedded on the screen. That's the official representation of the chat. So that's on your browser. It may be in a totally different order. This is what we have to go by. And of course, if you are the first person to answer the question correctly, you have to send us an email so we can send you a $2 bill. Just send that to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com.
I love all of the people that are putting numbers in the chat right now.
Yeah.
My favorite is Kelly Clarkson.
B lady, you can answer. It has been over 4 weeks. Rusty, you cannot.
Okay. We'll get the first question over here.
Even my sister's answering. Good Lord.
What is Jason's favorite animal to trap? It's not 55.
Yeah, backwoods is finally spring here also.
Fox is not it. Beaver. Terry Trodo.
Yep.
Okay.
Cheater. Robin. There were quite a few people that said beaver.
Sure did. Terry, make sure you email us in the next 48 hours, twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Give us your name and address, especially if your real name is different than your channel, and I will get that $2 bill out to you.
I don't think we've ever shared that on a live stream. So she's been binge watching videos.
Skunk. Oh, Tim Beverly.
All right. So.
Okay, now you can go with your questions.
Now I want to turn the clock back a little bit here with you, Jason. Everybody knows you as the hunter, the trapper, the homesteader. I want to turn the clock back to maybe your high school days. What was your hobbies at that time? Were you a sports player? Were you did you play baseball or soccer or football or?
I played middle linebacker for my high school football team. I ran track, and I lived in the auto mechanic shop and the metalworking shop and the drafting class. I was big on the vocational side in school, and then I just chased girls. I don't know how I got out of English class, but I got out with a C, and I think my coaches had something to do with that. And on my transcripts it says I took algebra, but I don't really remember it, so y'all can figure that one out.
Okay. How about you, Robin?
Oh, she was a nerd.
Well, I was a nerd and a jock. I played basketball. I ran track. I played softball. I even tried out for the football team my senior year.
Now you got it, but let me interrupt because we're from the same town. And it's amazing how. Well, it's not amazing. I mean, because it's God.
Right.
But He knew exactly when
That
to
is
put
amazing.
us together because we ran same crowds, hung out in the same areas, went to the same places when we cruised. I mean, we never met each other.
No, I know his car. Like now he tells, you know, when we started comparing stories, I'm like, I don't know how we never like crossed each other's paths, because I know the car that he drove in high school. I don't know if he remembers the truck that I drove, but I remember his car. So
my car
his
was bad.
Camaro, it was nice. But so you know, so we traveled in the same group. So what were you getting ready to? You're getting ready to bash my high school.
Yeah, we were a 4A high school. They was like they were like a lowercase a.
Well, it was a Catholic high school, and it was back before it's a school. It's very expensive to go to, and so a lot of the really good athletes couldn't afford to go there. So we had a lot of pansies playing, and my senior year, I had a guy in my class that always tried to dog our basketball team, and we always made fun of their football team because, you know, every year when you play football, you know, you guys pick the school that you're supposed to be able to beat for homecoming. We played at everybody's homecoming games because we were the school that everybody could beat. And so we used to always pick on him about that. So my junior year, I was picking on him and saying, you know, my best five could take your best five any day of the week. And so he was like, put your money where your mouth is. And so I went through and practiced with him, and I took one good hit, showed him I could take a hit, and then I was like, I've made my point. Sayonara, y'all have a good one. And that was it. So there's your trivia question that nobody knew about, but now everybody knows. So, but I got a really cool gold charm. I don't know whatever happened to it. Football charm that he bought me that year. That kid did, and so that was. But I played football. I mean, I played basketball. I played softball. I ran track, and then I graduated top 15% of my class and went on to University of Arkansas on a full scholarship academic. So,
very nice.
She did a double major and graduated with a 3.98.
3.875.
Wow, very good. What did you major in?
Psychology and philosophy.
That's why you can never get a straight answer out of it.
I was actually, I was planning on going to law school there. University of Arkansas has a program, or at least they did. It was called a 3-3 program, where you did 3 years of undergraduate and 3 years of law school. Your first year of law school counted as your last year of undergraduate, so you could be done in 6 years instead of 7. So my first 3 years, I did all of my hardcore stuff. Well, my senior year, I was ready to go to law school. I'd already taken my LSATs, been accepted, the whole 9 yards, and then I found out I was pregnant with Blaze. And so I decided I wasn't going to go through my first year of law school with Blaze, so I went to my academic advisor, and she looked at my schooling, and she's like, well, you have enough credits to go ahead and get a whole nother major in this last year of school. So I just did a whole nother, you know, I had already done philosophy, and I had taken a couple psychology classes just because I was interested in it. So I took enough to be able to have 2 majors by the end of the year. So
now she cheats when we argue because she'll throw out these big $20 college words, and I have to go look it up to find out what she just called me. And by then we forget what we were arguing about. So, then I'm like, how do you spell that?
Very early on, when we were first married, we were in the middle of something, and I called him, I think, was it obsequious? And he was like, okay, rule. You are not allowed to use high dollar words when we're fighting. He's like, in fact, you're not allowed to use them before 10 a.m. and you cannot use them after 10 p.m. So that's been our rule ever since.
But my vocabulary has improved over the last 14 years.
Okay, and I saw there was a question went through that was asking about if you had any kids and so forth. So if you want to tell them about your family, how long you all been together, and just let people know a little bit about you.
We've been married 14 years.
Nope. He always gets this wrong.
We've been married 13 years. It'll be 14 in November, which is right around the corner.
No, it will be 13 in November.
No.
Baby, we got married in 2005.
Been a long time.
We were married in 2005. So if you do the math, that is, which is not his strong point, as he told you earlier. 13 years we will have been married in November. We have known each other for 14 years. This past March was 14 years. We met 14 years ago.
We have 3 kids. They're all for sale, by the way. Just place your bid, send us an email.
No, we got some good kids.
Blaze is 19.
Mm-hmm.
Carol is 12.
12.
Dessa is 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they all have their strong points. Like Blaze is very good at totaling trucks. He has like a doctorate degree
in truck killing.
He can total your truck. You getting tired of driving a truck? He is your man. He can wipe it out. Carol is learning how to cook, so probably by the time the conference rolls around in October, I'll probably be as big as round as a pencil.
Mm-hmm. Blaze fits his name absolutely.
And LaDessa, she's in that stage where she's in my hip pocket all the time.
Well, you missed the big thing with Carol. Carol's our photographer.
I was getting around to that. So
okay.
You always cut me off.
Oh, whatever. I'm gonna cut you off. You just wait.
Here we go. Cover your ears, folks. Cover your eyes. La 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 la.
I'm like Ronnie Dangerfield. I don't get no respect.
No.
I just want to know how many screens I went through.
LaDessa is 10, and she's just all about daddy. Whatever daddy does, she wants to do.
She's been in here. She planted all of our vegetables that we showed you that's inside. She planted 90% of them.
Mm-hmm.
All by herself. I sat literally. She was right there. I sat here. It was part of her botany class for homeschool because we homeschooled. We actually made it. High five. Through homeschooling high school.
Yes.
We should get a congressional medal for that.
Oh.
Anybody that homeschools through high school and then figures out how to do transcripts, the kids should get a college scholarship just because their parents figured out how to do the high school transcripts with homeschool. But LaDessa planted 90% of these. She's always out there. She's always been out there with me in the woods. She's always on the trap line with me. She's always hunting with me. Now, 90% of the time when we're deer hunting, she's passed out cold, asleep, but she's always there. Mm-hmm. She's tough. She's as tough as they come. She falls down off of the bike. She gets mad. She'll kick the bike.
Get back up.
Fuss at the bike because when she kicked it, it hurt her toe. But then she gets back on the bike and goes again. Carol, on the other hand, will fall down and not even make it all the way to the ground and squall for 5 minutes. And it's
two totally different personalities. You mean that's not how you deer hunt?
No. LaDessa is all me.
Yes.
And Carol is all Robin.
Yes and no. Okay, so LaDessa's normal temperament is me. Carol's normal temperament is Jason.
Is LaDessa the one that goes on the walks with you, Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's okay. LaDessa.
LaDessa is very much a people pleaser. She will try to bend over backwards to help everybody. And that's kind of the way I am. I'm very accommodating, try to make everybody happy all the time. Jason is very blunt. He'll tell you exactly don't ask him what he thinks unless you're ready for it. Either way. because he's not going to sugarcoat anything. He always tells you exactly what he thinks. And
that's why we don't have any friends.
And Carol is the same way. Carol is very straightforward, and she will tell you exactly how she feels and what she thinks right at the moment. So, which is kind of weird because Carol looks very similar to me, and Ladessa favors Jason a lot more. So, oh, our neighbors homeschool. They have 8 kids. The one that's 16 is starting college online. See, we were hoping that Blaze was going to go that route, but he just kind of lost his oomph at like 15.
When he figured out what girls were.
Mm-hmm. And Blaze is mixed. Yeah,
yep.
Blaze is a little bit of both of us. That's exactly right.
See, what happened with Blaze was laser focused with his dream of becoming a FBI profiler till I made him go get a job.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our town is not
the greatest.
Not the greatest town in the world, and he got influenced by a lot of bad apples. And so now we've had to snatch him back a little bit, and so we just hope and pray that.
I think he was telling me today, it was kind of cute. He's like, I don't think the universe likes me very much. I was like, why? He goes, because every time I try to be normal, the universe is like, no. I was like, no.
There was me and JC had a long conversation the other day. I kind of asked him, I said, look, I really appreciate you shaking my son down to his core. I really wish you wouldn't have took my truck in the process. But,
have you replaced it yet?
No.
Not yet?
No, we're still going back and forth with the insurance company, getting everything. That's such a long process when it's a total loss. Mm-hmm. It's contest time. Let's see it. Is this the one that we're allowed to guess with too?
Yes, it is.
So I can just scream out the answer, right?
Okay, well, let me grab this because I'll lose it in conversation. Farmer Alarm is asking how many animals you have, not including your human kids.
Oh, we have a lot.
We have...
Start in the back of the pasture.
Well, I was counting just bovine. We have we
two,
got 5 up front.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
There's
3 in the back, 5 in the front. So we got 8 cattle. So we have 1 cow, 2 heifers, and 4 steers, and 1 possibly could be a bull because his ring didn't stick on.
We got merino sheep.
2 merino sheep, females.
We've got
a donkey.
A donkey. We have populated Elbert County with Muscovy ducks.
Yeah, we probably have a flock of over 30 or 40 ducks.
We've got chickens, of course. We're going to get back into quail. We ate all the quail, so now it's time to start over.
Have a goose.
We got 1 goose.
Donkey. Oh, we said donkey.
And got the honeybees, chickens. Pigs, yeah.
Lots and lots of pigs.
We've got our lard pigs, the ones that we got from
Alderman Farms.
Alderman Farms, Tommy down there in Mississippi. We rode down and got those. Mm-hmm. And they're guinea hogs. Mm-hmm. We're in the market for a couple of boars, so that way we can split them up.
Yep.
And then we've got our bacon pigs. They are Berkshires. Mm-hmm. And they should be making baking seeds any day.
Yeah.
Farm Alarm said, what animal did you start on your homestead first?
The gateway.
Quail.
Oh, yeah, it was quail. That's
quail
right.
Quail was our very first one.
Yeah.
Because of homeschool.
Yeah.
Blaze and I were doing a homeschool project where we took a upright freezer and we turned it into an incubator. That's the good thing about the South. Just drive down an old country road and you'll find what you're looking for because people throw stuff on the side of the road all the time.
All the time.
And we found an old upright freezer on the side of the road. We threw it in the back of the truck. We brought it home and we made an incubator out of it. Well, a guy and I that went to our old church, he had a bunch of quail eggs, and he said, "Here, put them in there." And
anybody who raises quail knows, and you don't know this in general, but you'll figure out that the fertility rate on quail eggs is usually like 90%. Like, it's super high. So we had 12 eggs, and all 12 of them hatched. Like, we were expecting maybe 3 or 4, and we ended up with all 12 of them.
All 12 hatched. So we built a brooder box, and we built the cage for them, and Blaze just took over. Well, I was coming home because I had a commercial trapping business at the time. We were coming home, and I heard a bunch of noise in the carport. Well, I went out there, and the quail were pretty much beak to butt. He had them packed in there. He had over 200 quail in there.
We had no idea.
And we had no idea. And I said, "Man, how did this happen?" Well, from behind the upright thing, he rolled out this big chart that he made where he had on each row, each shelf in the incubator, which one was which, when they were due to come out. And he just constantly started rotating.
And we didn't realize that quail at the time. We hadn't done our research, and that was part of the reason why we started our YouTube channel, is because a lot of times we would just do something and we wouldn't do the research behind it before we got knee deep in it. And with the quail,
that's the story of our homestead. It should be called Knee Deep Homestead.
Yeah, with the quail, we didn't realize that they become sexually mature at like 6 weeks. Like 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks they started laying, and they only take 17 days to hatch. So, or 17 or 21, something 17. Like that. Yeah. So it doesn't take long. And so, I mean, by the time a couple months had passed by, he had so many quail in there. We had no idea how many he had.
So we loaded up the freezer, and I started asking around, and the guy that we got him from, he laughed. He said, "Well, just sell them. Just put them in the Iwana and sell them." Mm-hmm. So then we started selling enough that they were paying for their feed.
Yeah.
And then the guy at the church handed us chicken eggs.
Yeah.
And then we hatched the chickens. And then when we got our very first egg, we were hooked.
That was it.
But the funny story about the quail, though, is that when I went to go, because in Georgia, you got to have a commercial trapping license, and then you've got to get a special nuisance wildlife license to do the nuisance wildlife work. Well, I always did FaceTime with the game warden stuff up there that handed out the licenses.
Department of Natural Resources.
We would go up to DNR, and we'd hang out with them and chit-chat with them. I wanted them to know my name.
Well, because they refer.
Right. And so I went up there, and I was talking to one of them, and I was telling him about what we were doing with the quail. And he reached behind his back, and he pulled his handcuffs out and set them out on the desk. And he said, "Write me a check for $30. I said, "Man, why am I going to write you a check for $30? He said, "Because if you don't write me a check for $30, I'm going to put these on you. You need a license to do the quail here in our state, man." And I said,
I wrote the check.
"Here you go." And he said, "Next time y'all start doing a homeschool project, call me first." He's got that book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to stop talking.
Well, that's all right.
Which eggs taste better, quail or chicken?
Chicken, because you need like 700 quail eggs to make one chicken.
Like, quail eggs are like the size of a marble.
Now, stop. Now, you can do what they call Cajun. Yes. You can Cajun pickle the quail eggs.
No.
Oh.
No.
They are so good.
Homemade methane gas. That's all I'm gonna say.
Now they do. They make you a little gassy, but it's nothing that you can't live with.
A little gassy. We sold them a couple of jars, and the lady came back and threatened to cut Jason's male parts off if he sold her husband anymore, because she was having to sleep in the other room.
Yeah, he made her throw up.
Okay, let me show everybody this book. This is a book authored by Stacy Lynn Harris.
And signed.
Yes, it's and she's the one that signed it. We didn't do it.
My answer is blue. Blue number 3.
So this is the book we're going to give out tonight. We only have the one, and we have a question for it, and we'll see. Is everybody ready here?
Oh yeah. There are.
Okay, now the same rules apply here. The chat will be embedded on the screen. First person that answers the question correctly in the chat,
as Daryl can see on his computer.
Yes. So here we go. Armadillos taste like what?
No.
Armadillos
Not
taste
chicken.
like what?
Not bud either.
Nope. No, it's not pizza.
There we go.
Brenda Buttress.
Pork? Really?
Pork.
I would never eat it.
I would never eat armadillos. Mm-mm. There's not enough money in the world. And look, I'll eat just about anything. But armadillos are a carrier of leprosy.
That's what I've heard.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
I mean, we got to be talking Walking Dead scenario before I would even think about it.
Okay, so
And we eat a lot of crazy stuff, but armadillo is definitely not one of them.
B lady has a question. She wants to know what you use the donkey for. Okay.
Our donkey came with the property. The people that had the property before us couldn't catch him. They said, you know what, you can have him. But I won't get rid of him because it wasn't shortly after we got here. The wild dogs and the coyote population when we first moved here was bad. Mm-hmm. It was bad. And one night when we were doing the moving process, because we moved from Augusta, which is only about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from here now. So we moved kind of in stages to try to help save on funds. Well, we got back here one night, and he was out there just raising all kind of cane. And I told...
It's the worst we'd ever heard him bray. Like, he was
and she's
really
like,
loud.
And she's like, are you going to go out there? I'm like, no. If he's dead, he's dead. He didn't... I don't really want him anyway. Mm-hmm. We went out there the next morning, and he stomped a coyote into... And when you hear somebody talking about, I'm going to stomp a mud hole in your chest, they've seen what a coyote can do, or what a donkey can do to a coyote. Because he stomped him and didn't stop. The only thing that was left was a hole in the ground and his tail. It was just a puffy part of the tail.
That's the only way we knew what it was, because his tail was still kind of attached.
Yeah.
So
we keep him around for when we have young calves on the property. And he protects the sheep. Him and the sheep are running buddies. And so,
but he's also a pain in the butt, because when we had our bull that we introduced, he ran that bull around so much that the bull went right through the fence. And it took us forever to round that cow back up. And he's always, when we were having issues with the fencing, he was always the instigator for, if we ever got a phone call from the county saying our animals were out, you could bet that the donkey was there with them.
And no, that's funny, Christy. He will not go after Apollo.
No. He'll get close to us to be like, get away from my, he herds his group. And he'll run a perimeter around them when we're walking back there. If we get a little too close, he'll let us know that we're a little too close. So,
but we have merino sheep.
Yeah, we don't have any Katahdins. We just have the merinos. So.
Okay, and just to let everybody know, we do have our phone line open. If you'd like to call in, we can take one call at a time, and you can ask Jason and Robin questions directly, or just say hello to them or whatever. So the number is on the screen.
Somebody asked, I saw it a little while ago, right before the contest where I didn't win the book, about what is the hardest animal to trap. And I'm gonna have to say, at least right now in my experience, it's gonna have to be the coyote. And I'm assuming that when you would go up in size to the wolf would be harder than the coyote. And the reason why they are so hard is because the trap that you use, you got to get them to step on a pan smaller than this roll of electrical tape to be able to catch them.
Yeah.
So.
And they're very finicky. Like if they step.
Well, they're very.
Perceptive.
Well, no, they're more paranoid than a tinfoil hat survivalist who lives in a bunker way out yonder way. They literally when they're interested in something, and I've seen it hundreds of times on game cameras, like when they're what they call working our set, they will catch a whiff of the stinky stuff that we put in there, the lure, the bait, whatever, and they'll walk around it. They start really wide. And they're looking at everything around it. Then they start coming in tighter, till they get right there to it. And then the trick is to get him to put that paw right there on that pan to get him. What's the punishment?
We can Homestead hay lay off the foil hat, guys. It's close to home. To me, coyote is easy to trap. I have problems with a fox.
See, I can catch fox all day long. So you must be really overrun.
Yeah, I'll trap coyotes when I don't want to. Yeah, see, we're the opposite. We have to call them in. You kind of have to do a...
Well, you don't necessarily call them in. I call them in for fun. But they are...
I was talking about with your sense.
But see, we're also inundated with the red wolf.
Yes.
And they have crossbred, which probably makes ours, maybe the coyotes around here, a little bit more challenging than where he is. But foxes, we catch foxes on accident. Like Blaze caught his very first gray fox in a coon set. That Fox was chasing a field mouse or something and jumped over the log where Blaze had his little number 1 set, and he caught him by both feet. Boop, and he was sitting there.
Yeah. So.
I wasn't making fun of the tinfoil hat people.
He just said more paranoid than this.
I'm saying. But trapping to me is Christmas every day. Do otters burrow? No, but they will take over a beaver house. Yes. Beavers will burrow into the bank. Beavers will make a hut, and otters will go in there and take them over, because an otter will go in there and eat the baby beaver. Otters are a hardcore predator. They're very aggressive. A pair of otters can clear out.
Hello, this is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
In days.
Hello, it's me, Maria.
Maria's on the phone. How you doing?
Maria. California's in the house.
Am I talking to Big Bear and Robin now?
Yes, you are.
I believe they can hear you.
That's a long time. Where you been?
What's up?
Hey, I just wanted to say, you guys, congratulations on your upcoming Homesteaders of America's Conference appearance. I have been watching you guys, your promo for your, what is it called? Your class, your trapping class, all over Instagram. Yes. I'm just so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. You should come join the class.
Well, I won some tickets, and I'll be there this year.
Oh.
I'll be going. So I'm going to get to meet all of you guys.
Very, very cool.
Are you gonna do that interview thing that you were talking about a couple yees ago?
No, I don't think I got it in me anymore. That's up to Two Family Homestead now.
Maria, did I hear you right? You won some tickets?
Who wants some chicken? I don't want chickens.
Listen up, girl.
Not yet. I gotta get out of the apartment first.
Did you win tickets? Is that what you said?
Oh, tickets. I thought you said that I wanted chickens. Yeah, I won some tickets to the Homesteaders of America's conference.
Oh my
gosh. It was
gosh.
a contest on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. I can't wait to see all of you.
Awesome.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to try all that trapping stuff.
That means I'm finally gonna get that hug I've been promised for a couple of years.
That's right.
There you
What
go.
happened?
I said that means I finally get that hug I've been promised for a couple of years.
That hug, just as long as you promise not to fart while you do it. Squeeze away.
Yep.
I can't make any promises. I can't make any promises.
Maria and Tim Beverly just said when he found out that you won tickets, he said black sex links.
Oh my God, that was the
That was
funniest
the-
thing
Oh, wow.
ever.
Oh,
Oh wow, that takes us way back.
So, yeah, so anybody that doesn't know this story, Maria was an admin or moderator on one of the chats, and somebody asked about black sex links, meaning chickens,
and she
and
banned them.
Maria didn't know what black sex links were.
She dropped a hammer on them.
So she came out
I'm gonna
of
blame it
the
on Jason. I'm gonna be like, that's because he didn't tell me about it sooner. So it's all Jason's fault.
We were talking gardening. We weren't at the chicken part in our conversation yet. We were still trying to get you to grow stuffing containers.
You were trying to teach me how to set them traps without snapping my finger or my hand off.
Oh yeah, the rat traps.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, so it was funny. But
Now you need to come get those T-Rex traps and leave those traps alone. Now that I found those T-Rex traps,
Yep.
those are the ones you need, and then you don't have to worry about anything I taught you.
Well, you know what? I heard that last year at the conference that your class was such a success. Like it was one of those moments where you would think that, okay, well, he's giving a class, but you wouldn't think it was like that it would have such a success. And it was just like, that's all I kept hearing about was what a wonderful class you gave. And also that you got seated right by Joel Salatin at the conference too. And I saw a picture of you goofing, like super fangirling. And Joel Salatin. I was like, that's Jason.
He came up to our booth, and there's a part of me that was glad that you weren't there because you would have made fun of me for like the rest of the weekend. But I was almost speechless when he first came up, and he was watching us do the demonstration on the coon cuff. The coon cuff is what got his attention, and I still get a little stuttery when I'm talking about it. When he came up and he started asking questions,
like he was interacting with the class, and like the whole, you know how the parting of the sea, like everybody moved out of the way so he could get to the front.
No way!
Because I had my head down and I was talking to this one guy that was like right here, and I had my head down and I was explaining like this, and then I saw movement out of the corner of my eye, and it was like everybody went like, whoop.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I was like,
you just call him your Royal Highness?
He really didn't. That was the cool
your Royal
part.
Highness?
He didn't.
Because you look like you were seriously like.
And it was cool.
Like,
I mean, I was standing there with my hero in front of me. And
there you go.
I mean,
there
you can look
go.
at some of the videos, and my hands was shaking a little bit and everything, but.
Well, when I meet you guys, I'm gonna have to like sit there and do some like cartwheels or something, get it out of my system so I could be cool when I meet you guys.
No, you got to do your imitation of me again with the beard that you made when you did it that one time on your live show.
Yeah, when I used to sit there and like dress up and pretend I was Big Bear.
Yes,
Did like the fart? Did I fart? I'm pretty sure I pretended to fart once. I mean, I had to. And I was combing my beard all the time.
Can you imagine this
and brush my fake beard?
That weekend in October in Virginia nobody will ever be the same.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. I already said I have somebody going with me. I have my mobile homestead going with me. We're going together, and I said, you know what? I'm probably not going to see her the entire conference because I'm be going all over. I'm going to stalk every single one of you guys I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be squeezing you guys. I can't wait. I am so excited to meet you guys. And I'm sorry it's been such a long time, but I just wanted to stop by and just congratulate you on your success. It's been awesome to see it, especially like on Instagram and that picture of you looking all boss. That's pretty cool. Proud of you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You need to hit me up on Skype. We need to catch up. I got a lot of stuff I got to share with you. I miss talking
my
with
life
you.
gonna get crazy because I'm telling you, when we do collabs and stuff like that, my life is never the same.
Well, it was nice talking with you,
Hanging
Maria.
out with
Thanks
Big
for
Bear
calling
is like
in.
you gotta hold on because it's like a ride of your life. You just never know where it's gonna take you. I don't know if I'm ready for that, man. I got a lot going on. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely hit you up on Skype. Thank you so much to Family Homestead for the opportunity to like reconnect with Big Bear in Robin.
Awesome. Glad
They're such a cool
you were
family.
able to, and so glad that you won some tickets.
Yes, absolutely.
I do. Now I just got to figure out how to get myself down there. It'll be fine. I'm gonna go. I can't wait. I can't wait to meet all of you. All right, I won't take much of that airtime. I just wanted to say hello and congratulations.
Yeah.
All right,
Maria,
all right, everybody.
I'm gonna message you. So I'll message you in the next couple of days.
Sounds great.
Okie dokie.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Love you
All
so
right.
much.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I saw a question up here. Somebody was asking about
I'm
being
so
able to
glad.
use the cage.
I'm so glad she called in. Her and I used to be like peas and carrots.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we used to Skype all the time, and I would try to help her with her quail and with her.
Well, she went
her-
from doing nothing but having little guinea pigs in her.
Oh, those guinea pigs.
She used to have some funny videos about her guinea pigs. With
Remember the ones that she did? She did the one where the guinea pigs laid the egg.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Yeah.
I
She's
was
very
laughing so hard.
funny. Yeah.
Okay, what was the question?
Something about the cages. B Lady's been posting it.
Oh, it was
for us a couple
Country
times.
Girl. Country Girl asked about the cages.
Yeah.
What
Country
cage?
Girl, can you post that again? See if
Something
I can.
about using cages, like pig cages or something. I saw it up there a couple of times, but we were in the middle of something when we. We'll see if we can get it back.
It's really far up here, isn't it?
God damn it.
What did you just ask if I farted carrots?
Yeah.
Is that what she said?
Oh, she said, could you use something similar to the pig cages we use here, only one way in and one way out?
For what?
Coyotes.
Coyotes, yeah.
You're gonna play havoc trying to get a coyote in a cage. You're gonna have to camouflage the tar fire out of it.
Because of how paranoid they are.
Yeah, because coyotes are super, super paranoid. I know trappers that were trapping with Jesus. That's how old they are. That won't try to put an animal in a cage. Now, a lot of your guys out west, because of the law, they're able to get a bobcat in a cage. So those guys would be easier to talk to when it comes to trying to get the coyote in the cage. Now, pig trapping, I fabricate my own trap when I got a pig trapping job, and I'll use the big black galvanized pipe, and I make it where the door hangs down, and they can push it up, and then it closes in behind them. Where with that type of cage, canine is a canine, no different than your dog. He would start hitting it with his paw, get his head in there,
and get back out.
Yeah. Cost effective wise, it's like $22 for the MB550 versus a cage the size that you would need for a coyote. You'd probably double that or triple that.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive when you start getting into the bigger ones.
Now, my buddy Will
You
from
just asked a
Weekend
question.
Homestead, he said, what is the cheapest and easiest type of trapping to get into if you're new to everything? I would have to say, what are you looking at me for?
I'm waiting to hear what you say.
I think the coon cuff.
I was just going to say that. Raccoon is probably... Now, raccoons can be challenging, but the coon cuff is a very...
The coon cuff takes the challenge out of it now.
It does. It's kind of like... But for somebody who's new, it would give them a confidence. Mm-hmm. But the only downfall with that is with a raccoon, the best ways to catch them are live traps. Mm-mm. Stop. I'm not talking about a cage trap. I'm talking like when you catch them, they're alive. So then becomes the issue of what?
No, the easiest way to catch them, but it costs a little bit, but they cost more than the coon cuff, is to make a bucket trap with a 220 conibear. Because you throw the bait in the back of the bucket, conibear's in there, he sticks his head in there. Gotcha.
We've been trapping for how many years, and you never use that trap, ever. And we have the buckets, and we have the 220.
That's because my girls are always with me.
Yeah, okay.
Plus, I do long lines where I'm walking a creek bed.
Right.
But he said a beginning trapper's not going to walk a creek bed.
So, again, going back to what I said, most of your traps are going to be live catch traps for a raccoon. And so then becomes the challenge of once you get them in that trap, they are a feisty animal. So then getting them out of that trap, whether you're going to pop them or
we'll see. And
get them with
this is where a lot of debate comes into play. Mm-hmm. I am not an advocate of relocation. Mm-mm. I don't believe in it. I think if you relocate an animal, you are 1,000% wrong. Mm-hmm. And here is why. Our human population has quadrupled over the last, 10 years, 50 years? We are losing natural habitat for our wildlife. Mm-hmm. So when you take this raccoon, who can be a carrier of the rabies virus, can be a carrier of distemper, and you take him or her and you relocate it to another area that you don't know the raccoon population in that area, you don't know how plentiful the food is, or whether or not he is sick. Mm-hmm. You've just introduced possibly a sick raccoon into a area that may already be stressed when it comes to the food sources of the raccoon.
Right.
And so you just made it harder and possibly killed by taking that one raccoon and relocating him. You possibly just put 50 to 100 other raccoons in danger.
Right.
You know, and that's the same way with squirrels, rabbits, everything.
And that's why our state requires, there are certain...
Well, most states now require all canines, cats, coons, possums, venomous snakes, your fishers, your badgers, require them to be pretty much euthanized because of the rabies virus and other ones.
Wow. So... JJL Ford says it's illegal to relocate off of your own property. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, we've always had to euthanize. And that's one of the things when we were doing it commercially, we would have to tell people, look, the law requires us to do that. And there were times where we lost a job because of that. They didn't want us to euthanize. And we were bound by law to do it.
The exception to that rule is bats. And the reason why is the bat population, believe it or not, is kind of low. But what you get in the east coast of the United States, you've got 3 major species of bats. You have the big brown, the little brown, and the one that's got about a name that's about that stinking long that I can't pronounce, but most of us in the nuisance wildlife world call it the Mexican free-tailed bat. The Mexican free-tailed bat is the only bat that does migrate. In our winter time, whenever we have it, he will jump ship and he'll go back down into Mexico and South America. Mm-hmm. And then he'll come back. Big brown and little brown will take a short, what they call hibernation nap here in the South, and they'll stay. Now, bats love to get into your house, and that's when you call a guy like me and you write a big fat check. But we cannot put, it used to be, back when I first started, you used to be able to go in there and spray them with water, chase them out, and exclude the house. Well, a lot of people got caught spraying bleach and gas and all this other junk.
Stupid stuff.
And bats were dropping out dead. Well, they stopped that. Then it used to be able to put what they call a bat box on, or a bat trap, which is nothing more than a closed-in bat box on the side of the house, run a shop vac tube down to it, and you could catch the bats. And if you were lucky enough, you could relocate them to a bat house and they would stay, if you were lucky. But of course, bad apples spoiled the bunch on that one, and they were leaving those bat traps up on the side of the house.
Bats were dying.
Bats were dying. The state of Georgia said, you know what? Ominous dominus, that's not happening. So now it's a one-way door where they can leave and go as they please. I say all of that to say this. Everybody wants to blame poor Ricky Raccoon for the rabies virus. But he is nothing compared to the bats. 1 out of 4 bats carry the rabies virus.
Yeah. And it's not always the, everybody always thinks of the Cujo strain.
No, there's...
But it's, yeah.
And the funny thing, and I tell everybody, the rabies strain has so many different types that 90% of them are, they will go off into a dark corner and die. They just want to be left alone. The Mad Dog Cujo strand, and that's what it's called. Thank you, Stephen King. That's 1 in a couple 100,000.
Yeah, it's not as...
Most of them are, they go off, they just be left alone, and it attacks their nervous system, and then it attacks the respiratory system, and they suffocate and die. The reason why raccoons is so popular is because the raccoons get tested more. Bats don't get tested until they fall dead up out of the louver vent. And then if the DNR guy sees it, he'll be like, let me take that and get it tested. That's about the only way they get tested.
Yeah. But people report anytime there's an issue with a dog or a raccoon, they want them tested.
So Janet for Life said, any tips on keeping deer out of my garden? Yes. Okay. Don't spread tiger poop. Don't spread human hair. Don't waste your time with that. Okay? 1, tiger poop is 9 times out of 10 illegal in your state, and it's just that is completely unethical too. Human hair works for a short amount of time. Now, to educate the deer in your area, you can put, and this is one of the things that I got a book coming out for predator control in the homestead. You can get motion activated sprinklers, and if you're lucky, when they come in, they'll get hit with the water, boogity boogity boogity.
I'm gonna take off.
You've got to scare the deer, or basically kind of, for lack of a better term, hurt the deer. One of the things that is 98% effective for deer is to run a 3 or 4 strand of electric fence around your garden. Take aluminum foil, fold it over the fence, put a little bit of peanut butter on the outside edge of that aluminum foil. They'll come straight to that peanut butter. They'll lick it, they'll get zapped, and they'll haul butt, and then they remember.
Yep. Now, another thing, one of the things that we also try to promote is giving them food buffer zones where they don't come all the way to your garden. You plant stuff on the outer edges of your property so that they stay content out there.
And believe it or not, that one works better than anything else. There are spots on our homestead that we go in there and we plant some raspberries, some blackberries. Like in my one walking video, I showed we got a bunch of blackberries that we transplanted back into the back. And it's right around my one spot where I hunt. That's one of my food buffers. It keeps them there. And that's great also not only for deer, but for all predators. Because everything, and here's, if you don't learn anything from me whatsoever, whether you come to the class or in here or you come and listen to me speak, learn this one sentence. Every animal follows its food source, whether you're talking about a field mouse or you're talking about a human being. They follow its food source. So you plant blackberries, okay? Of course, birds are going to come to it. Well, they're going to knock some of the berries down on the ground. Your field mice and your rats are going to come to it. They're going to start to eat that. They're going to be hanging out around that. Well, what's going to come looking for the mice and the rats? Well, you got snakes, you got your raptors, you got your foxes, you got your coyotes. What else is going to come to the berries? Is going to be your coons, your possums, your weasels, stuff like that. So just by planting a small patch of blackberries, you really gave them something else to go to rather than coming to your garden and to your chickens. Now with deer, I would plant things like any extra cabbages or leafy greens kind of stuff, spinaches, sugar beets, cabbages, lettuce, carrots, radishes, anything like that. Go to your forestry commission. You should be able to get 3 or 4 trees rather cheap. Get a crabapple and a pear tree.
Persimmons.
Persimmons don't really grow just about everywhere.
Wow.
And plant them. Sweet peas is another good one. Plant them in the back part, the farthest part away from your garden. You get a good crabapple tree or a good pear tree going on your property, you won't have a deer problem anymore. I mean, you could get really crazy and you could plant hops. Deer absolutely love hops.
Hops, yeah. But not everybody can grow hops.
Hops are so finicky on how to grow them. It's very hard to get them to grow. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, Jason, let's get our second trivia question going here, if you don't mind. We'll just kind of take a short intermission here. So
7.
All right.
Oh, this is another one I can't answer.
Okay, go over the rules here very quickly again. You can only win once every 4 weeks. You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it is received and recorded on the stream here. That stream is embedded in the window on your screen. So if you're looking at the window, you will see exactly the way the answers come in, the way we get them. And no, it is not number 42, Jim.
I so love that people are starting to do that to y'all.
And it is not 74. It is not green. It is not turkeys. So, the question is, what essential oil makes Robin sick?
Dun, dun, dun. See, that's the hard question.
See if anybody attended my class last night. Ice cream.
Is that a new one there, Will?
Haggis. Wintergreen. No.
No.
Good. No.
WD-40.
Oregano. No. Frankincense. No. I don't think anybody's going to get it. Yeah, Teresa knows, but she already won. Lemongrass, no. Tea tree. Jason Sports.
The one I don't know how to spell.
Rosemary, no.
What essential
Somebody
oil?
needs to get out their book and just start typing out different names.
What essential oil makes Robin sick?
Not bergamot.
Not oregano.
No. Rose? No. There it is.
There it is.
Windswept Homestead.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Experiment will make me sick to my stomach.
Windswept, email us next 48 hours your name and address, and we will get that $2 bill out to you in the mail.
And we want to thank everybody for playing the trivia time.
That's so much fun. I never win though.
Because you're not very smart.
No, it's because I'm always playing in the chat doing 3, 7, 12.
So I know somebody asked a while back about your hat, where you got your hat from. Why don't you tell everybody that story? That's actually a pretty cool story.
No, because you bamboozled me.
So one of our viewers is from Australia, and she, Jason had mentioned he used to have a Bushman's hat that he got when he was in Australia, and he lost it. Well, we won't get into that, but anyway, he didn't have it anymore, and he wanted one. And so I reached out to her and asked her if she had any way of getting one, and I found out a picture, kind of what it was. And it was really cool because she hit me up on Facebook through Messenger and asked me, like, she was actually at the market and was like, is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? And we finally figured out which one it was and then what size it was. And then she sent it to us from Australia. So it's actually...
Yep, this is actually from Australia.
Australian.
It's made from kangaroo leather, I think, right? No, this is cattle leather made in Australia.
Made in Australia, yeah.
Made in Australia. Let's see if you can see it.
No.
Nope, you can't see it.
But focus, but
yeah, your oil sack was made from kangaroo.
Yeah, my oil. Funny you call it an oil sack. Was made from kangaroo. So, but anyway, so that was really cool. She sent that, and it was pretty neat. So, skunk skin.
So we need another caller.
Nobody wants to talk to you.
Maria did.
Yeah.
We need another caller.
Or another question, at least.
You know, we didn't beat the Joe Salatin record. I think the highest we got was 77.
Oh, man. But you got 52 thumbs up. That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah, but I still wanted to beat John.
Yeah, it did make me puke last night. The H word. Oh.
Somebody needs to call in. We need a caller.
60 degrees outside. It's almost 10.
There we go.
There's a phone call. Who you got?
Hello, this is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
This is Donna from Old Ways New Times.
Well, hi, Donna.
We need another caller. We need another caller.
You said you needed a caller. I'm a caller.
Okay, and Country Girl, I had to turn your call away because we already have one on the line here. So
That's my mama.
So my question is, and I really do have a question for you, Jason. Under what else will burrow but only make like, what is it, like a 4-inch hole that'll go after chickens?
A rat.
A rat? And leave like nothing, almost nothing left?
Of the chicken?
Yeah.
What was eaten out of the chicken? Everything?
Yeah.
Was just one chicken killed or a bunch of chickens killed?
One at a time, like every few nights.
Just pick one off at a time.
You just pick one off at a time?
Yeah, picking off one at a time.
A 4-inch hole. I mean, Maria's on the right track. She said weasel, but a weasel's like an Italian mafia hit guy. He just goes in and kills everything.
Usually, yeah.
Unless it's a young weasel, it could be. But you don't have mink in your neck of the woods, so it would have to be. It would have to be a rat.
Nice size rat.
Yeah.
How big are the chickens that it's taken down?
I took it down mature bar drops.
Oh, wow.
You might have a weasel.
Yeah.
You might have a young weasel. Send me pictures of the burrow holes and send them to me. And
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Would a snake do it?
But a snake would.
Snake would eat the. Well, no, I don't.
I mean, a snake's not going to chew and pull.
No, a snake's gonna go for the eggs or something small enough that it can.
Yeah.
And it tunnels a fair distance too.
Snake.
But if it was that big of a snake, it would eat the.
It would eat
chicken
the entire
whole,
thing.
Yeah.
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 So Jason, I was taking notes.
That makes me so proud.
I know, she's awesome.
I mean, you might have a weasel.
Yeah.
We weasels are all up and down the East Coast. They're just few and far between.
Yeah.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabra. Oh, that's funny.
So,
Love you, Mama.
I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
All right, love you, Mama.
Love you, Mama.
Love you too. Bye bye.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, country girl, now's your turn.
Yeah, now you can call. I need more tea.
Can't you call the kitchen? Won't they deliver?
We probably could. I don't know. They were brewing earlier, so. Yeah, let me call the kitchen.
Hey, but she's on the coast side of it. I don't know.
This is Daryl. Hi, country girl. How you doing?
Good. How are you, darling?
Love you more.
Just doing fine.
That's not possible.
It is so.
Hi, Andy. Okay, I had to get that out of the way. I had to talk to my man first. Sorry, James. I got to talk to the right one
It's
first.
okay.
So how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I haven't had an opportunity to meet y'all, so I wanted to call and say howdy.
Hello.
Howdy.
I'm from Texas. Sorry, we say howdy.
This country girl is in Texas, in Houston.
Oh, awesome.
For now, anyway. For now, she is.
I went. Some of my first communication schools when they were teaching us how to link up with satellites and stuff. We this was back before cell phones. I was at Lackland Air Force Base and Shepherd Air Force Base.
Yep.
Wichita Falls and San Antonio. I absolutely fell in love with San Antonio. Their Riverwalk. Every person that has a Riverwalk should go to San Antonio and take notes and try to mimic that to
Yeah.
That is probably one of the best Riverwalks in the continental United States.
It is, and it's also one of the most historic. If you'll take the boat ride, you'll learn so much history. It's just not funny, and it's a gorgeous boat ride. So,
At that particular point in time in my life, I wasn't interested in the boat ride. I was more interested in Hooters. They called me there, and I was only 20.
You just need to make a trip back now and take the boat ride, okay? It's a lot of fun.
Whoa. Holy cow. So we have a window right here. Jason opened up the window because it was getting warm in here. And I looked over, and there's this head, like, sticking through the window. I was like, oh, my gosh.
Hey, everybody. I'm seeing all of you. Say hi. Hi, everybody. Well, I'm going to give somebody else a chance. I just wanted to say howdy, and it's been awesome watching you guys. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yes, I can tell.
Bye, Andy.
You got to announce yourself on our live streams on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I will absolutely try to make my best be there. Now that I'm back online. I've been offline for a while because I had issues, but I got them fixed.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
One of the things we learned when we went to the conference last year, we had a lot of people come up to us and introduce themselves, and they would be like, "Oh,
we've been watching
we watch your show all the time. We watch it," and I'd be like, "Well, what's your screen name?" And they'd tell me, and I'm like, I pay attention to the screen, to the chat, and I don't ever remember.
She's like, "Oh, but we don't comment."
Yeah, they're lurkers.
Like,
yep.
You
Yep.
need to comment. Tell me who you
Yeah,
are.
Yeah.
just say hi or something.
Yeah.
Those
so-
are the ones that are watching but don't press the thumbs up.
Yeah, they.
Well, I always
it was
comment.
just
If I
funny.
take time to watch a video, I will always leave
Yeah.
a comment, so you'll know
So
I was
do I.
there.
So do I.
Good. We look
Good.
forward to it.
All right.
All right, guys, I'm gonna give somebody a chance. Y'all have a good night.
You
Thanks.
too, Dawn.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thanks for calling, Don. Bye-bye.
Bye, Sharon. I love you more.
Love you more. What is good bait
Miss
for hogs?
Miss Hyatt asked, "What's a good bait for hogs?" I like fermented corn.
Or we caught a lot with the hulls from when we were making muscadine wine. You know, you take all of the hulls and everything out after you're done fermenting, and then we would give that to our hogs. And then what would happen is we would have wild hogs on other fence trying to get in because
Or
any
you
of
come
that
back,
fermented
or you
stuff-
go out there in the morning and then you got a bunch of wild hogs that look like a frat party. They're just laid out all over the place, all drunk.
just hanging out. Ugh. What is fermented corn?
It's corn that's been fermented.
Well, tell her how you ferment it.
You stick it in a 5-gallon bucket
With some water.
with some water and a little bitty,
Mm-hmm.
like you're making moonshine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do that. ATF guy lurking in the background. I have no idea how to do that.
So she says, I've been told fermented corn, but never caught a hog.
That's all. That's all we use.
Yeah. Yeah. Or a pregnant sow. I mean, or a in heat sow. That'll catch you.
Gotta get them drunk enough.
Moonshine. There we go. Mid-South Homestead.
Yep. I'm telling you, some of I think the fermented smell.
You gotta. It's got to be stinky food.
Yeah, it's got to be something that's stinky. So that's the big thing with them.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I would do if you had a hog problem on your property. I would go out there and just start dumping the corn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I wouldn't even ferment it. I would just start dumping it, and I would do this for 3 or 4 weeks straight in the same spot every time. Then I would put my trap out there and dump the corn, and then I would tie the door up so they can come and go.
Yeah, that's a trick that people don't normally think of. And that's one thing Jason's done a lot of is he'll set a trap so that it doesn't go off, and he'll just bait it real heavy for a while, and they get used to going into the trap thinking that it's not going to go off. And then after a week or so, 2 weeks, then he'll set it back up so that it will set, and then
they walk right in.
they walk right in, and he come back with it in the morning.
Because I tell everybody, especially it was with squirrels. Everybody would be like, "Why don't you put the squirrel in the attic? Why don't you put the trap in the attic?"
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, look, they are used. They have their territories. They know what's in their territory.
Mm-hmm.
And night, Maria.
Good night, Maria.
And you introduce this trap. You introduce something foreign into their territory. It would be like you coming home and there's a lobster dinner sitting on your dining room table.
You're not just going to go sit down at the table and eat it.
Now, most people will not just run right up. They're going to go around asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, animals are not going to ask questions. They're just going to be cautious of it for a while to see what it does. So you wire that trap open, and it doesn't pose a threat to them. So it takes their time in their animal world, whatever time they need to get used to it, and then it doesn't pose a threat, so they can come and go as they please. They just look at it as something that just happened and came down, and it doesn't pose a threat to them. So you let them do that a couple of times, and you come out and you make that trap live, and
then you come back to
animal. You'll come back to have an animal on trap, guaranteed.
Yeah. So.
Can you hear the crickets?
here in our state, there is no closed season on hogs because hogs is becoming a big nuisance animal nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're tearing up farms, they're tearing up
pastures,
they're tearing up everything. And so there's no closed season, so you can always just shoot them. Now, obviously, check with your state regs first, but there's always that clause if they're coming in, they're tearing up your crops or your fields.
Yeah.
Then it's open season.
Yeah.
They're considering allowing bobcat trapping season here in Ohio. Nice. That is awesome to hear, because then that means your bobcat population has come back from next to nothing.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
They were having issues with that.
So who's going to call next? We need a caller. Caller. We need a caller.
Come on, Brad, you're on here. Call. Who else?
We need a call.
Oh, there's projects everywhere. Anywhere. They must have been hiding.
Is it to get rid of hog meat? How easy is it to get rid of the hog meat? What do you mean? I mean, we eat it.
I don't understand that question, Floyd.
And Jason, do they restrict to live traps, or can you expedite? What does that mean?
I don't know. You're a smart one.
I don't know what he means by expedite.
I don't know.
Unless that was an autocorrect of some sort.
The only trap stipulation or restrictions that we have here in this state is the jaw size, the 330 and the snare have to be used in water or within 10 feet of water.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a snare guy. I don't like snares from the fur trapping standpoint. Now, from a survival standpoint, at SHTF, I'm all about snares. But from a fur bearing where you're trying to harvest the fur, I don't use them. Does hog meat taste pretty much the same as farm raised pigs? It really depends on what they're eating. Now,
and what do you mean by farm raised pigs? Are you talking about one that's on grass, or are you talking about one that's in a confined area?
Look what Jatan said. That's interesting.
We can't eat feral hog here now. Texas started using warfarin to pour. Oh my gosh. Warfarin is rat poison. That's horrible.
Look at the big brain on you.
You did start this conversation with 3.875, correct? Who are you talking to?
It really depends on what they're eating.
Uh-huh.
If you get, like, with us, our wild hogs taste pretty much the same as our hogs because they're all eating the same. They're all eating the same stuff. They're all eating the same acorns.
They're all going to the same buffet.
They're eating the same black walnuts. They're eating the same pecans, eating the same grass, stuff like that. I think that pretty much they are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people will say that a wild hog will have that taint to it because the boar hog still has his boy parts. I'm a firm believer in that depends on how you kill it. If you are still hunting and you're up in a stand and you shoot it and he doesn't even know that you're there, his adrenaline's not pumping.
This is Daryl. Hold on, please.
And it'll start pumping once you shoot him, but it's not going to pump enough to put it right through his whole system. You're running them with dogs. Now his adrenaline's going to be pumping. It's going to be pumping for a while. That has enough to change the taste.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, one moment, please. Jason's just finishing up a statement here.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
The boy part makes them taste funky. It can. Yeah, don't make them run.
Yeah, it's the same way with deer.
Yeah.
You know, bucks are the big thing that everybody wants to kill with deer, and everybody pretty much is eating boy deer.
Yeah.
And everybody loves it. Well, a lot of people still hunt deer. That deer doesn't even know he's dead until he takes that one leap.
as long as it's a good shot.
And the adrenaline doesn't have enough time to get in and to the system, and the blood run through the meat. Mm-hmm. You run them with dogs, and I've eaten deer that's been run and killed with them running dogs. I don't like the way that deer tastes, and that's how I came to that conclusion.
Everybody talks about that gamey taste, and a lot of times I think the gamey taste comes from the adrenaline.
Yep. All right, we got a caller. Who's on?
Yep. Who's calling, please? This is Daryl.
Hey, this is Floyd Underhill.
Hey, Floyd.
My main man, Floyd, my third blacksmith friend.
What's going on? No, I was asking about that hog meat because, I mean, I can only eat so many pounds of hog. And, I mean, if somebody was going to kill, 5 or 6 hogs that wasn't sitting, what are you going to do with all that meat? I mean, is there some place around that takes it often, or, the home for habitat and stuff like that only probably takes so much? And how does a person get rid of all that? You don't want to do the wanton waste just out of, moral standards.
Right. There's an organization called Hunters for the Hungry that you could probably find the local chapter in your area and donate it to them, and they'll probably come and get it. You run into problems when you try to go to the Salvation Army or soup kitchens or stuff like that because now they've got regulations that they have to follow. Yeah. It's like we were part of a church down in Augusta, and we were going to donate an entire cow to them to feed the homeless with, but they couldn't take it.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to.
Because for them to be able to feed the homeless and the hungry out there, it had to follow FD double duh guidelines and all of that.
Yeah. I think one of the things we've been known to do is just buy more freezers. And then what we end up doing is we use a lot of our stuff for barter. I don't think people think about this. I know, I was just talking to Donna Old Ways, New Times. They lost, they had a freezer that was under 2 years old, and they just processed a bunch of pigs, and something happened with the freezer, and the freezer went out, and they've lost all that meat. So, sometimes there's people that, are accustomed to eating, not necessarily feral hog, but more nothing from the grocery store as far as meat goes. And you're always going to hear about people like that. That would be a situation where I'd be like, here, let's barter, a goat. They may have goats. I want, I've got the meat. We swap it out and everybody's happy. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is that sometimes things like that become good barter tools as well. Because not everybody hunts. Not everybody raises farm, pastured meat. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is that it's not always about having it just for your own consumption. And then like another thing is, we just processed a 700-pound pig. And so we have a lot of pork right now. And we're getting ready to do a chicken butchering class. And we're actually going to offload some of that meat, doing like a cookout kind of thing. And that's going to be part of the price of your ticket, is having that lunch there. So that's another thing, is you can always have a cookout and invite the people that, that makes, good neighbors, invite people from your neighborhood, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different things you can do with that extra meat, where it doesn't just necessarily have to be for your consumption.
Right. If you come across the wild boar, it's kind of like the deer. I think it's kind of like the deer that the sow would taste better or more tender or something than the boar.
I've never really had the taste difference. Now, most of the time, I still hunt, so they don't even know I'm there.
Yeah.
Because I have to hunt high because of my injuries from my time in the military, because I can't sit perfectly still anymore. I have to stretch out my legs. So I'm hunting high. And so they don't even know I'm there. And And when they do realize that I'm there, it's too late
They're
anyway.
already, he's
So
get a kill
the
shot.
adrenaline and everything is not pumping.
Right.
But I don't. Again, I've never really had a
I was
taste.
just thinking that they're smaller and they expend less energy and stuff like that, and you're doubling up on reducing the population by killing the females that breed so quick.
And that's true. That is definitely true. But as far as taste goes, the thing with wild pigs is that they don't have as much fat because they do a lot of walking around and moving around a lot. Whereas like your pigs that you get a lot of fat from commercially, it's because they don't move around a lot. They're stuck in an area where they don't have a lot of room to be able to. What are you doing?
Just keep talking.
To be able to grow that fat. So the thing with feral hogs or any feral animal, that fat process is not really. Will you stop? You're distracting me.
Well, I don't know how it's distracting you.
The fat's not there on a feral animal, so you don't have that flavor. It's a totally different flavor from something that you raise, in a confined area. But then when you start talking about when you raise pork on pasture and you have them walking around, everybody's always talking about rendering lard. We had a 700-pound pig, and we didn't end up with a whole lot of lard on that pig. She was not very fatty at all. She walked around 21 acres for the last 3 or 4 years. So that's one difference when you're talking about the taste of a feral. And whether it be a male or a female, you're still going to have that difference.
Did you take Kitty's cards?
Nope. I think they're still in a bag somewhere. But anyway.
Well, we appreciate y'all getting together on this collaboration.
No problem.
We'll be hollering at you later.
Floyd, you need to send us some of your cards so that way I can do what I do. Because remember, when people win contests on our channel, we got a business card. We're not only putting our business card in there, we're putting everybody else's too. Hint, hint.
I'm working on a whole lot of my business. The cards are the least of my problems. Thanks again. We'll talk to you later.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for calling.
I feel like we're like, hello, caller. Like a
Radio talk.
No, like a telethon.
Oh.
Country Girl, you need to send us one of your stickers too. We're a firm believer in the rising tide rises all ships, and I was the first one to say that.
You were the first one to say that. We don't have wild hogs up here in the north.
Not yet, anyway. It's like we used to not have armadillos. They used to not come this far up because it used to be a Florida thing. And now they've started creeping, and they're all the way up here with us. And we're starting to get them hardcore here. I busted 2 last year with a 20 gauge, and I'm starting to see a lot more dead on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I could go to Canada.
There's wild hogs here in Ohio. Yeah. Yep.
And the problem with a wild hog is that their side from shoulder to about midway back is almost like Kevlar.
Mm-hmm. Very tough
Very
skin.
tough. I shot one with a 380. I emptied my magazine.
Mm-hmm.
It just bounced off of him, and I hit him every time. And, man, I busted him with that 30-30, though.
I'd hate to hit one of those with a car. We've seen that happen. It's not pretty either. They do a lot of damage. They're tough. Very tough.
Okay, Tim, do we have another caller? Tim must have went to the bathroom, so callers, Just call on in. We got to get Tim out of the bathroom.
I wonder where Tim went.
No,
I
not
think
Tim.
he
just
left,
put the name-
didn't he?
What do we have for him, Johnny?
This winter I found an armadillo breaking into my veggie garden. Yeah, they'll do it too. They can do a lot of damage. And a lot of times, correct me if I'm wrong, the armadillos are going after the bugs and stuff too, right?
Armadillos are going after grubs, worms, earthworms, stuff like that. Same way with your moles.
Which is why they're making so much.
Moles are not going after your root crops.
Mm-mm.
They're going
after the bugs.
They're going after the grubs, the earthworms, and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, homesteading with the cases, they had a bad mole problem. And it was very, very funny because he was on the phone with me. We were in a Skype call. And he had an owl come in somewhere. I guess he saw the mole moving or did an owl ninja thing. And he swooped down and he grabbed the mole. Well, he was flying by as we were talking and something happened. The owl that he let go of the mole. And it almost hit Howie in the face. It like bounced off his shoulder. He screamed like a girl, like a schoolyard zizzy.
Although to be fair, I think anybody would have.
I mean, just because it was pitch black dark and something just like slapped him like right here, and all you seen was the camera was going like this, and he was a squalling. And he came back and he's like, "What is this?" I said, "Man, that's a mole." And he said, he was like, "Moles don't fly. It can't be a mole." I'm like, "Dude, that is a mole."
Oh man! So I saw something up here. Do we hunt bear?
Yes.
We have hunted bear.
We have hunted.
We killed the bear?
Never killed one yet. I got a great. Blaze was 9, 10, and we went on a bear hunt.
Went on a bear.
Yes, that's exactly where my mind went, Robin.
Yeah.
We went up. We went further up into the mountains.
Yep, North Georgia.
And we climbed to the summit.
Yep.
And we knew we were in bear country. There was bear scat all over the place. There was slides where the bear was laying on his belly, sliding down the mountain. Tufts of hair everywhere. And when you get up higher in the mountains and you get up there close to the summit of a mountain, the oak trees get bigger. And they drop some massive acorns. So we're both sitting with our back against this massive oak tree. And Blaze was kind of cocked around to the one side, and I was cocked around kind of like this. We were sitting there. And you kept hearing the and his eyes would keep getting bigger because he's thinking it's a bear, and I knew it was just the acorns falling. And it was on the WMA, Wildlife Management Area, and it was a buck, boar, and bear hunt. So we could have shot a pig, a deer, or a bear. And so we were just sitting there, and all of a sudden, Blaze squalled. And he just started hollering, and he was holding his face like this. And he scared the crap out of me because he just hollered. And I turned around and looked at him. He was holding his eye. And I'm like, what did you do?
What happened?
I mean, because you know boys, when they're in the woods, they're picking up sticks and bending. I figured he bent a stick and it slapped himself in the face or something.
No.
He was staring up, looking at the tree, and an acorn fell and clocked him right in the eye.
And no exaggeration, it was almost the size of a golf ball.
Yeah, it was,
and so they were making jokes the whole rest of the weekend that you could have eaten off of a squirrel because those things were like Arnold Schwarzenegger walking around carrying the acorns because the acorns were they were massive. They brought some back.
Blaze got his first black eye from an acorn.
Yep.
Yeah, try to be tough with that one.
I got beat up by an acorn.
But I got a buddy on Facebook who lives up there in Canada that I got an open invitation to come up there because he does guided bear hunts. I got an open invitation to come anytime I want.
Just got to get up there.
I just got to pay my way up there and pay for my tags and everything. It's going to cost me right around $2,000 for the tags and everything. And cost to get up there. But finding the time, that's the killer. You know, like if I'd have been that guy on the back porch of in your video, yeah, that bear would have got stuck.
Well, next time you make plans to go over to Cincinnati to J Knowles, you'll have to let Daryl know we're only, what, 3 hours?
2.5.
2.5 hours from there.
Yeah.
We gotta get back up to him, so.
Do they eat bear? Yes. The first time I ever had bear was when I was probably knee-high to a grasshopper. And it was good. To me, it just tasted like roast beef. A lot of people say it's on how you cook it. That it can be greasy and it can be tough. But just like any wild game, you know, that meat has a tendency to be tougher, just like your pastured pork and your pastured beef, because the animals are constantly moving, constantly walking, doing all that stuff. They're not pinned up into a CAFO where they're just standing there doing it.
So Terry asked the question before. She said it again. If you're hanging a bat box near your house, how far away do you put it away from your house? A
bat box, I would put it a good. Here's the thing: you got to keep an eye on it. I know people that put it right on the side of their house. I personally would never, ever, 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 ever do that unless I had my house already excluded. The thing about a bat box is you've got to have it 12, 15 feet in the air, and it's got to be getting afternoon sun. Your bat box has to be dark in color, black, a dark brown, so that way it can absorb all the solar heat.
You need to listen. Daryl bought one for his daughter last Christmas. She wanted a bat box for the bugs, and I think it was just, you know, plain wood. And we asked her if she'd put it up. She goes, "No, Dad hasn't put it together for me yet." So you need to let him know, because when you said it has to be black, I don't think he knew that. I just got a strange look.
Black or a dark color.
You want it to be warm.
And it has to be facing to where it gets the most afternoon sun as possible.
Right.
So that way it can absorb all the heat. That's why houses made out of brick and stucco are more likely to get bats than a house with aluminum siding. Because the bats because the brick, think about it, in the summertime, go out to your house. If you got a brick house, go out to your afternoon, side of your house that gets the most afternoon sun. Go out there at 9 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, and you can feel the heat radiating off.
You can literally feel it off the side of the house on the brick.
So, and that's why you want that dark color. But as far away from the house, you can go, it would vary. The problem that you have to worry about is once that bat box gets overpopulated, the bats double the size of their colony every year. The female has twins, sometimes triplets, every year. Now, in our neck of the woods, birthing season runs from about May 15th all the way till August 15th. So they outlaw a lot of bat work from May 1st to August 15th. You have to get a special permit to be able to do anything. But you got to keep an eye on that, because if that bat box gets too populated, then the bats will start to look for other places to go, and that's how they will overrun your house.
All right.
What did Donna S. ask?
I don't think she asked.
She asked something, didn't she?
No, she said it answers the question.
Okay.
She had bats nesting behind, yeah. Also, I have a dead burnt tree out back, too. You can use that.
And I wouldn't use that because it'll probably fall.
Yeah.
Can we get another caller on the line? Caller on the line? Is there a caller on the line?
I don't know. You got a lot of people getting ready to go to
I
bed.
know.
Really cool cave near Iron Mountain that has, there's a lot of caves where the bats.
Now, here's the thing for homesteaders. You need bat boxes.
Oh.
You need bat boxes like it's nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being is bat guano makes some of the best fertilizer, but you have to compost it because it is probably 10 times hotter than chicken manure.
Yeah, it's super hot.
It is super, super hot. You can burn stuff up, but compost it for 6 months. Or what I like to do with it is I like to spread it out on my pasture. I'll literally dump it into a seed spreader and run it so it spreads it out.
Mm-hmm.
And tremendous fertilizer.
Where you put it, like where we would put it in the pastures, you would see this bright, rich, dark green grass. Yeah, you could see the patches where it would go. It's really, really good.
Good old guano.
Yep, guano. I thought bat poop was poisonous.
No, bat poop is not poisonous. What happened, and the reason why a lot of people think that is there is a bug, a guano beetle, that eats the bat poop. His feces is not necessarily poisonous, but it can cause a respiratory disease called histoplasmosis. He also eats rat poop. And that's why you can get that from breathing it in. But if you're spreading it out in the open, or you're spreading it out in the in your compost pile, you're putting it in a compost pile, or you're spreading it out in a garden area, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's only for a confined area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like up in your attic.
Now, I wouldn't recommend eating it though. Sorry, I couldn't pass it up.
See what I did with?
Well, and the other thing with bats too is that they also have the thing that you're allergic to. Whenever you would go to do bats, is they have like a flea or something to get, like, what are they called? The bat bugs are they called bat bugs? Is that what you call them?
That's what I call them.
Yeah, but they're almost like I don't know, what would you say? Are they like I think they're kind of like a flea.
They're kind of like, no, they're related to the bed bug.
Yeah.
And they love, I must got sweet meat or something, because they absolutely love me.
They love Jason.
Spend some time in that's about. What disease is called that you get from raccoon poop? I'm not aware of one.
I've never really harvested raccoon poop, so I don't know anything about that. Spent time.
I mean, poop is poop. I mean, you can get sick from
any of it.
Any poop,
Yeah.
but I don't know of any disease. I mean, you can get
She's funny.
She ate dinner, now she's back for more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget what I was going to say.
Poop.
It's what happens after a certain age, Jason. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is there. Wow.
But I'll have to look that up, S. Woods, and see.
Yeah, the rain it's kind of crazy here. Some of it's because we have trees over us, so if the wind blows a certain way and knocks the raindrops down onto the roof, that happens too. So anyway, 11. Ow.
2 hours and 9 minutes.
Yep, I told you.
Yep.
Say any.
I have to go deliver mail in the morning because I work for the post office part-time now, just so I can get out of the house and away from the children.
Yeah,
you were going to say don't rub your eyes after handling guano.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta be careful with that stuff. It's not good. No bueno.
Floyd, Maureen's a long-winded.
Well, Jason, I know that you're going to be at the conference this year.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to share with everybody in here about that coming up, or
Nanny boo boo? I get to see Joe Salatin again.
I understand he's going to be there.
Yep.
Yeah,
rumor has it.
Stacy Lynn's going to be there. Eustace Conway's going to be there, and my gardener's going to be there. All Crib with Doug and Stacy's going to be there. All of them are going to be there. Who?
Justin Rhodes.
Yeah, Justin's
Stacy
gonna
Lynn
be
Harris.
there. Did I say Doug and Stacy already?
Yep.
Yes.
Those guys are going to be there. Josh, my other blacksmith friend, he's going to be there. He's going to be doing a class. Dana
Sullivan
is going to be doing a class.
Janet Garman.
And, we're going to be doing a class.
Pratt
my
family.
Class, and like I tell everybody,
Pratt
look,
family, yeah.
my class is a class that you don't realize that you need until it's too late.
Yeah.
And with our class, we're going to be going over predator control on the homestead. You sign up for our class, you're going to get traps in hand. I'm going to give you some traps. You're going to get a booklet that's got pictures, and I mean, an army guy can handle this book because it's going to have a lot of pictures in it. Place to take notes and stuff like that. And we're going to put some eye attractants and stuff in there for some coyotes and some other little neat things in the bag.
And we're going to show you how to use all of them before you leave.
The only thing that you got to show up to the class with is some leather gloves. You're going to get hands-on, and we're going to talk about all of the predators, from possums to bears to raptors,
snakes,
to
everything.
All of that, snakes, everything. And we're going to talk about not just trapping them, but how to deter these guys. Now, I'll tell you one thing you're not going to learn, and you're not going to learn how to make a 100% predator control chicken coop, because those things do not exist. Anybody says that they can make one has never come up against a hungry boar coon. That's all I will say. There's no such thing, because if a critter wants to, he's going to get in there.
Like a skunks too. Like that's, I mean.
And it's one of those things that we're going to put a lot of tools in your toolbox to be able to combat predators when you come face to face with them. Now, we are a guest speaker there this year. I think we're speaking on Friday.
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think we're speaking on Friday. We're going to talk about predator control on the homestead and food buffers and all these kinds of things. And it's one of those types of topics that you need, but you don't realize you need it until you come out that morning and you got dead chickens.
Well, and the other thing too about this is that like Jason said before, is if you go out to even if you have knowledge, if you don't have the trap, a lot of times getting the trap there takes longer than the animal to completely obliterate your flock. So that's the really cool thing about this class, is that not only are you going to be given the knowledge of how to identify which predator you're dealing with, how to control them, how to attach them, that kind of thing. But you're also going to walk away with the trap in hand, so that you'll be able to, if you walk out one morning and you see something, you'll be able to not only identify it, but you'll already have the trap ready to go.
Yeah, all the traps that you're going to be getting are going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
They're going to have an anchor system on them. They're going to be dyed. They're going to, the ones that need to be dyed and waxed, they're going to be dyed and waxed. You're really going to be able to put your gloves on, take the trap out of the bag, and go.
Well, and Jason, I'd like to just, I'm going to tout our channel here for just a moment. Most of those names that you mentioned, we've either had them as guests or we're going to have them on as guests. We're going to have Justin Rhodes
May 7th.
May the 7th. We have Off Grid with Doug and Stacy scheduled for later this year.
In August, Stacy Lynn is going to be a guest.
Stacy Lynn Harris is going to be a guest. We've had Alderman Farms. We've had you. And others.
You guys are like the unspoken Homesteaders of America interview channel.
Yeah, I think for the most part, we're the only ones that do it every week consistently. I mean, other ones do it when there's conferences and gets together. Yeah. We're the ones that will bug you consistently until you say, "Okay, fine."
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Go away. I'll do it. So, and we certainly appreciate all the guests we have, and anybody that's new here tonight. Stop back. We have somebody different on every week. Sometimes very small channels, sometimes quite a bit bigger.
And we had Maria on. That was a riot. Maria, we had so much fun that night.
We had Maria on, and we've had Brad and Kelly.
Off Grid with they're
the funniest live stream ever that I seen that had Mariah in it. Maria.
That's okay, Robin. Daryl says the same thing.
When she did
Southern Mama's coffee break. And we were talking about the Second Amendment.
With the gun.
Yep.
Yeah. And Tangi showed her pistol. Maria hit the deck. It was so, I was crying. I was laughing so hard. She was like, "Whoa!" Boom, it hit it. It was absolutely hilarious.
That's fun.
But yeah, I mean, last year's conference, the Homesteaders of America's conference,
was phenomenal.
Was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
for the first time that they did it, yes, she did a good job.
I've never been to a Mother Earth News conference or anything like that. I hear there's just a lot of vendors, and there's a little bit of education, but not much. This one was slap full of education
and it's
opportunities.
Going to be that way this year.
It's going to be more so this year.
It was just jam packed in one day. Last year we had hog butchering, rabbit butchering, you had trapping, fur handling, how to deal with a crisis. You had Joel Salatin there. You had
blacksmithing. I mean,
blacksmithing. You had
foraging.
You had herbal stuff there. You had
yarn spinning, canning.
You keep my name. I'm trying to think of the other lady.
The one with the book.
Esther Emery.
Esther Emery.
Thank you.
Yeah, Esther Emery.
Yes, Esther Emery was there.
Off Grid Living, yeah. So you
Doug and Stacy was there, and there was just so much information. My booth last year did not stop. It was so awesome that everybody asking all these types of trapping questions. and everything, and I felt like we really empowered a lot of people.
And not only adults, you had a lot of children at your area.
Yes. Well, that's one of the things that Jason's really passionate about, is that, trapping is kind of a dying art, hobby, whatever you want to call it, tool, and taking children and teaching them only perpetuates, that information being handed down. And, so that's like our children. I mean, Carol and Ladessa were trapping with Jason when they were old enough to walk. They were holding on to Jason's boot going into the creek. So, that, and now, and that was the thing, is like a lot of people's mindset is, well, you don't do that until they're old enough to be able to set the trap themselves or whatever. Carol and Ladessa both walked trap lines for years and just started being physically able to set traps within the last year or two. So,
they just did a lot of baiting and a lot of handing me stuff and just sat back and watched.
But now
Carol catches coons better than I do.
Yeah, she went into a farmer's land and set coon cuff traps.
So you don't do this story justice.
Okay, do the justice.
we met this one of our neighbors, and he found, because he ran the dairy that we used to work at before the individual that we worked for. And we were going down the road and we saw a cow out, so we went and stopped and talked to him. And he asked me, he said, "Are you that trapper everybody's talking about that's going around getting everybody's beavers?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "I got some. Come on." And
so that trapping season.
So that trapping season, we went to his place. And I said, he goes, "So what are you going to charge me?" I said, "I'm not going to charge you anything. But when I come here, I want to be able to catch everything. Yeah. Coyotes, foxes, coons, whatever. And I bring my little girls with me." And he's like, "Okay." I said, "Because my girls like to catch the possums and the coons and stuff like that. They're just getting started." Yeah, that's great. Carol pulled out in a 2-week period. In the first 3 days, she pulled out 22 raccoons.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, she put a hurting. Every time we went out there, we had full traps. Like it was crazy.
And so the next year, I went back because he got so happy with that, he gave me hunting rights on his property out there.
And the girls were allowed to come swimming and
the whole nine. And so the next season rolled around, and I went out to check to make sure it was still okay for me to deer hunt out there. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "You can come out here to deer hunt and whatever." And I said, "Well, you mind if I trap again?" And he looked me dead in the eye and was just as serious as he could be. Because Carol was with me. He said, "Is she coming with you?" I said, "Of course." He said, "Because that's the only way you're allowed to, is if she comes with you." And I kind of got my feelings hurt a little bit. I was like, "What? What do you mean?" He goes, "No, you don't understand. In my vegetable garden for us to eat, this is we plant sweet corn every year. This was the first time we were able to harvest sweet corn in 7 years."
Wow.
Yeah. They were so overrun with raccoon that the raccoons would get to the corn before they could harvest it. Mm-hmm. And so then we let the land be, because usually after you put that much of a dent in the population, it takes a while for it to come back. So that following year, we went out and set a couple traps, and we weren't getting anything. So we left it alone. So we kind of lost touch with him after hunting season that year to the following year. We saw him in Home Depot, and he's like, "You need to come back and trap." And we're like, "Why?" He said, "Because they're back." You need to come back and thin them out again. So we have to go back and start setting traps again for them this year. So, but yeah. Look, butchering chickens, even when ours were, and I'm sure people judge all the time.
No,
but
people don't judge.
My daughters were helping us butcher chickens. Ladessa couldn't have been more than 3 years old, and she would clean the gizzards out.
She would clean the gizzards.
I'd cut the gizzard open and hand it to her, and she'd fold it out and clean all of the grit and everything out and clean them and do all that. And when you have that many hands, I mean, it was just 5 of us, but we could butcher 20, 30 chickens in no time, because when you got a whole family working together to do it, it makes it helps out a lot.
Yeah. We can butcher about 100 chickens in about an hour now.
No, it takes longer than that. He has no sense of time. But we can get it done in a day, and it's not a problem. So.
Well, Jason, it's
yes, sir.
It's starting to get a little bit late here, and I see a lot of people are dropping off. So maybe we ought to wrap this up for tonight, and
yes, sir.
And we'll do it again in the future here.
That'll work for me.
So we've had a wonderful time.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
We'll do it when my book comes out. We can do that.
Sounds like a winner.
Okay.
A lot of fantastic information.
We'll get a copy of the book, and you guys can give that away as a gift.
There you go.
Sounds great. So, any last words you want to?
Well, Maria just asked if I could Skype. Maria, can we do that tomorrow evening, please? I had to get to bed. I got to work in the morning.
Yeah.
So I still gotta get cleaned up from working on my mail Jeep and stuff, and go to bed. I gotta be at the post office at like 7:30.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
So, anyway.
So, But thanks for having us on. It was a wonderful.
It was great. I enjoyed it.
Great time.
Very informative.
I'd like to invite everybody over to all of our social media, YouTube, Facebook. We have a Big Bear Homestead Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Instagram, Twitter. We also look, and here's another thing. I'm gonna kick this out here real quick. We do every year. We just kicked it off, and it goes until the conference. We call it the Big Bear Weight Loss Challenge. As you can tell, I'm not a skinny mini. I can tell everybody, I'm not drive-through fat. I'm old-fashioned fat. I just like to eat. But we do a weight loss challenge. We have a Big Bear Weight Loss Challenge group on Facebook. They're very supportive. We share different techniques. I try to go live on that one and give a motivational speech as I'm out doing my walk. We share different exercises that you can do on your homestead and different recipes and stuff like that. So if you're struggling with your weight and you're trying to lose weight and you just want some help, come on and join that group.
I'm there.
Yep. Yep.
We got all kinds of things going on. But yeah, come on over. So, like I tell everybody, come on over and subscribe to us because we'll treat you so many different ways. You're going to like one of them sooner or later.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, and we want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I know we've had some new people tonight.
Yes.
We try to have somebody different every week, small channels to big channels, and everybody's got something worth watching.
Absolutely.
So Jason, thanks so much for being on tonight, and want everybody to have a good week. Let's see, tomorrow night we do a video editing class.
Hey, can you show us how to make a lightsaber?
A lightsaber?
Yeah.
A
You mean
lightsaber.
like Star Wars?
Editing. Yeah. In editing, post-production.
I'll make sure he does some checking on it tomorrow, Jason.
I guess I'll have to look.
It pains him to say that.
I've been trying to figure it out for so long, and I've asked other people that put on editing shows, and they just made fun of me and said that he learned how to do it. They said they learned how to do it when they were like 5, but I can't figure it out because I want to make a cool Star Wars kind of thing video with trap.
That would be kind of cool.
I think it would just be funny.
Yeah.
That's just.
All right.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you tomorrow night or next Monday night. And so take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
All right.